Hey man, how's it going?
I am warm. I do not understand why it's warm right now, or I feel warm because it's only like 9
Hmm.
degrees out compared to like the almost 20 degrees we got like on
Yeah,
Wednesday, Thursday.
maybe you're sick.
No, no, you know what it was? It's because I actually did work today. I made
Oh,
cookies
okay.
today. Also, I was using the oven, so it was
Oh,
hot.
you were at home doing stuff. I see. Yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah,
you
yeah,
don't
sorry,
work
no.
you don't work today, but yeah, that makes sense. Okay, no,
Yeah,
fair
so I
enough.
had the oven, and I was also doing. I've done like 4 loads of laundry today so far. So I'm going up and down the stairs, which is not that much, but maybe I'm physically hot right now because I've actually been using my
You've been
body.
moving. Yeah, maybe. But yeah, welcome back everybody to Bite My Shiny Metal Cast, the show where we talk about all things Futurama. Yeah, let's get into it. So, of course, last time we have discussed the first film, right? Bender's Big
Big
Score.
score.
So today and for the next time, we'll get to discuss a little bit about A Beast with a Billion Backs, the second movie. So you and I, and to an extent, Andrew, right? We the last time we were kind of discussing like our order of preference for it. So you had
Yeah.
said, and we'll get into the synopsis here in a little bit. You had said that this one may not be the best written, um,
No.
but it is probably the funniest. And the reason
Yes.
being is because there's a lot of really good jokes in here. So what we can do is because as I'm going to be talking about this, and we're going to be talking about this about the movie in itself, I know you're going to bring up scenes that you love, and you're going to
Yep.
say
As I
you
always do.
as you always do.
I interrupt you because I can
Yeah.
and
So
will.
let me finish the scene, and then we can talk about the funny scenes because literally every scene, probably, or at least a junket of scenes, has a few different things that we
Yeah,
can discuss.
I honestly don't think they had much of like I think they had bulletin points for how they're going to write this, and then it was just like, okay, let's just get our comedy guys in.
Mhm.
Hey, and even when they were probably like recording the cast, they're probably like, hey, do you have any thoughts you could do here for this
Yeah.
or something like that?
Maybe. Well, okay, yeah. And when we go through it, we can and the jokes that you bring up and the jokes that I bring up or whatever, we can tell the difference between whether or not this is like a throwaway gag or if it had something to do with the plot of the story, right? So, yeah, let's begin here. So, can you I can't remember now. Is it like slave labor or something with hard work of slave labor? Is that the opening caption of the actual film? I'm blanking on it. I was going to write it down. And I forgot to do so.
Oh, let me double check. I just had the pedia pulled up, not the pedia, the infosphere,
Mhm.
and it always has like those like, oh, which cartoon they use, but what did they have? The beast with a billion backs, a pre-Shakespearean slang for sexual intercourse. Nope, sorry.
Yep.
That's the title reference.
Yeah, that's what it's
The title
referencing. Yep.
caption,
Yep.
the proud result of prison labor.
There you go.
But
Thank
they
you. The
spelled
proud
labor
result.
wrong.
Right. The proud result of prison labor. And yeah, well, it's
So
interesting as well. So in the first movie, we had like an extended version of the original Futurama intro, right? It
yep.
would go to like featuring and starring like Philip J. Fry and Taranga Leela and all this stuff, right?
Bending
And
Rodriguez.
Bender
Yeah.
B. Rodriguez or whatever. But this time, it's the exact same intro kind of thing. But at the very end, instead of them crashing into the big, Teletron television or whatever that shows a
Yes.
cartoon, it has them fly into it, kind of like a little weird little portal, and it turns into a black and white, old style, like Mickey Mouse or
Betty Boop.
Betty Boop kind of like
Yeah.
animation style.
Fleischer. That's the
Is that the style
style,
of
but
animation? Yeah.
it's the producer. I can't remember exactly who if that was his first name or last name, but Fleischer was like the Felix the Cat, Betty Boop. That was
Yes.
his kind
So
of what he produced, and they all
yeah.
have that kind of look where they kind of are always
They're
bouncing,
constantly
which
moving. That's right.
yeah,
Yeah.
which
And
eventually Futurama did one of their three stories
yes.
of one thing they did in the Comedy Central run, which I like that one, but yeah,
Yeah. Well, the story, yeah, that one was like when there's each episode in that or each segment in that episode was a different style of animation. So they did
yeah,
that cartoon style that you just mentioned. Then they would switched over to like
eight
video
bit,
games, 8-bit. That's right, 8-bit style, and then they went over to an anime.
yeah.
So, but it was a story arc kind of thing. It was kind of an interesting
Yeah,
concept.
yeah.
I like
It
that they
was
did
kind of
that,
a
but
it
yeah.
was revolved around like a diamond or something like that, wasn't it?
Yes, a comet that had like diamonds in
Yeah.
it, and then Fry stole one for it. So, any case, it's very similar to this animation, if not identical. And yeah, it's just the Planet Express. I like how they have Zoidberg running on like the wheel in the back as if he's like the one powering the
A
ship.
hamster. Yeah,
The
like a
hamster,
hamster wheel.
and they're flying through, and then they see like the Moon Man farmer that Bender pissed off like in the early
Second
episodes.
episode.
Yeah.
Bender,
You know,
don't tell me you laid with the Crushinator. Please, Fry. A man has to use finesse with a girl like that.
like with the no, Daddy, I love him. So yeah, no, that's funny. I like that. And then it comes out and basically says, Futurama presents a beast with a billion backs. And yes, as you had mentioned, beast with a billion backs is a jokingly
Slang term.
for the beast with two backs, because obviously human beings only have two backs, but this creature, this pervert creature, is like a billion, if not
Oh,
trillions of different
okay, yeah. Oh, wow.
tentacles. That's
I
why
never
it's called
made I never made that connection before. I just thought it was like, yeah, he has a lot of arms. He must have a lot of backs. I never saw it as the slang term, which I just mentioned earlier. I
Oh,
never
you never
connected
put it
that he was
together?
that
Oh,
pervy,
that's why they call
and
it
now it makes
yeah,
sense. Oh my god!
there you go.
So
You learn
yeah,
something new every day. Yeah, that's good.
that's another check mark for them.
Yep, there you go. So I that's why I said I think this movie actually is clever. It's just
Oh yeah, that
not
one
as
flew over my head, and
yeah.
now I appreciate it even more.
Yeah, there you go. So yeah, we begin kind of on the opening of how we left the first one, which is kind of funny, the first movie. And there is a crack in the universe, literally a crack in the universe to some alternate reality that basically has the entire, or we only see it really from Earth's perspective, but we have the whole of Earth
Yeah,
is like is terrified. And basically, you know, the professor is in the concept of like, oh, we have to study it and all this kind of stuff. We have to figure this stuff out and all whatever.
Professor,
And yeah,
how scared should we actually be?
yeah, somewhere between not at all and entirely. I call him
Actions
totally.
entirely.
So I would say that joke is actually pretty good for the show. I don't think it's a throwaway gag. It's kind of a
No,
Zoidberg thing, right?
it is. I also do like how they have like some people are still terrified, and it cuts to the old cat lady,
The
Mayor
mayor,
Poopermeyer, and
yeah,
Randy just with their arms pointing straight up in the sky, just ah.
they
And
take
then
a
I think it cuts
breather.
them later where they're tired.
Yeah, and they go back to it. Yeah, so they have to take it in shifts or whatever. So any case, they're doing that, and like the professor is a scientist, so of course he wants to know all this stuff. But now we also get introduced to the fact that Fry has somehow just kind of just jumps into nowhere, but he has met someone. He's met a girl named Colleen,
This is my
who I
favorite
believe is
joke.
played by Brittany Murphy, who is
Yep.
also passed, if I'm not
Rest in
mistaken.
peace. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, and yeah, her voice was perfect for this role. Actually, it was really, really good, really, really good. But
Yeah, I
Colleen,
like her. Yeah.
yeah, but
Wait,
Colleen,
she was from King of the Hill, right?
I think she also played in King of the Hill. That's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
she was the niece or something. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So, yeah, what was it? Brandy? No, I can't remember her name. I didn't really watch King of the Hill that much, but
No, neither did
yeah,
I. But I appreciate it for what it is because they brought it back and they changed it a little bit. But
yeah,
I've seen the first season because when they announced it, also a good comedy cartoon movie for this time.
yeah. For the time being, it was very.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people. Well, I mean, it went on for like 11 years. Like, it makes sense why it was super popular for that. So anyway, Colleen and Fry had met during a time when they were both like staring at the jumbotron
Oh, I
screen.
love that. I love that.
It's like, man, it's so real when you look at the screen and it's like right above it. So
Something about being on the TV makes it feel much
so
more
much more
real.
real, and it's like even bigger in the sky. Like it's funny. So any case, Colleen and Fry basically hook up with the idea that the world is
Life
coming.
is going to end.
Yeah. So they kind of get together for it, and that's basically it. Now, having said that, I'm curious because we get to know a little bit more about Colleen obviously later, but with her style of relationships, do you think this is all started because of this, or do you think she was always like that?
Oh, she was always like this. Like
Okay,
the
okay.
fact that she's a polygamist, is that the correct
That's what
term?
I'm talking
It,
about. Yeah.
in many like what does she have like 6 guys that she was in an open
She
relationship
has
that all live with her. This is
five
probably two.
five including
This
Fry, I think. Yeah.
yeah. She is part of two of my favorite jokes. Is when we first meet her, and like Zoidberg's like, "Yes, Fry told me the other day how he met her," and then it goes into that like beautiful scenery, it's panning down to them, and then Zoidberg and Fry on the bench. So
How did you
Fry, tell
meet?
me, yeah,
Yeah.
how'd you meet?
So
I love it. It was the best setup
yes,
joke I've seen for a while,
that is a very
and
good
then the
joke.
whole thing
Well,
of
hold on.
like when yes, continue.
We'll talk about because I know that joke. I know that's one of your favorite jokes, and I like it too. I like it too, but there's a bit of a setup for it, right? Because we have to get
Yes.
into the whole process of it. But Okay,
Oh,
so
that
you
was my second favorite joke. Yes.
yeah, so you think that she was always like this, it wasn't the end of the world.
Yes.
Okay, okay.
No, no, no. Because I think if you look at the relationship, I think even one of them said like a few months or something like that. I could
Right.
be mistaken, but I swear that
Yeah,
they were like they've been in this relationship for a
for
long
a while.
time.
Okay,
I
cool.
can't remember their
So
names, but yeah.
right. So Colleen is in a unique relationship, which we'll get into a little bit with that. But in any case, Fry doesn't know, and he's super happy because he's finally got to be with someone now. Okay.
Five.
Leela is kind of like not. I don't think she's jealous. I think she's kind of just like, you know, apathetic to it. Because I mean, in the continuity, they don't bring it up, which I'm actually kind of curious about. But there is no reference to Lars. There's no reference
Nope.
to anything else, because especially considering that she now knows that Lars will, or Fry is Lars essentially, right? But
More mature Lars, we'll say.
right, but there is no like tension between them now. But Fry has essentially moved on, and I guess they do kind of make a reference to it at the very end of the movie. But that's basically it. So, in any case, Colleen is now in the picture, and everybody seems to be fine with Colleen, and Fry really likes her. Now, on the other side of this, we also have Amy and Kif have now agreed that they're going to be in Kif's culture married, and they're called the Fun Fun Roo, if I'm not mistaken, right? So the Fun Fun
Something
Roo,
like that.
and the Fun Fun Roo is a kind of a festive kind of celebration, similar to a marriage, but they have to fly to Kif's home planet, and then the grand midwife and grand all the other 6 jobs that she
I
has
love her.
gets to be there. Yeah, me too. Jess McNeil. And we get to go there to Kif's home planet. And this is the first time that we see Amy's parents also meeting his parents. Now, as we've mentioned in the past, Kif's family, when they get to a certain age in their species, and we kind of see it happen in this movie, actually,
I
they
do
turn
I have
into
an issue with that.
sure they turn into J hookworms, right?
Like a
And
swarm.
like a
Swarm.
swarm of them, rather, not just one, like a bunch of them. There's a little. That's one of my favorite jokes. But in any case, the Planet Express crew gets invited to this, as well as Zap Brannigan, because I guess Kip has no other friends, so he has to use Zap
I mean,
Brannigan.
he can't have any other friends. I think that's probably in his contract with
Maybe
Zap
he's
Brannigan.
always with Zap Brannigan, so he can't make new friends. So they get to go there, and yeah, Fry brings Colleen. Leela's alone, but Zap's also there, so he's constantly hitting on her. Hermes, is LaBarbara there? I think it's just Hermes, right? Hermes and the professor and
Um,
Zoidberg.
Looking at this thing, it does say that
Zoidberg.
LaBarbara's in this, but she's only mentioned in part 3 because with all the movies, they break them up into 4 parts.
That's right.
It's
That's
it's
right.
it's very annoying because there's like 5 different pages on IMDb for this. There's like the whole movie, and then part
Yep.
1, part 2, part 3, part 4. So
Right.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I think
So, in
she's
any
just
case,
mentioned according
most
to this.
most if not all the crew is there, and Fry has brought Colleen. I think she's the only guest out of that, I guess.
Yes.
So with that, Kif and Amy have to go through their little traditional thing. They have to
Ceremony.
the ceremony. Well, they have to like put mud on each other, and they have to be sprayed off by Zap Brannigan.
Oh, yeah, that was a funny
That
joke
was
too.
pretty good. And they have to eat the head off a snake if they want to.
If you
After
so
being
choose.
told that,
I just had an extra snake lying around.
yeah. And then
She's hilarious.
she's so funny. And then she's like, I'm gonna sing something. This is not part of the celebration, but I just something I whipped up. And they're all like, okay.
Cha wagga wa la ba la ba
Yeah.
la ba la. It's just nonsense.
Right. And then they finish off with, like, okay, you guys are now Fun Fun Ruse. Everybody celebrates. And Kif throws a makeshift bouquet of his guts, I guess. Like, he's a weird creature as well. And Colleen
Yeah, yeah.
catches it. And so, signifying there might be something, going to happen with Fry and Colleen in the future. So that's an interesting little thing. But then, yeah, the jokes. So one of my favorites is like, friggin', because I love Leo Wong. I love old Leo Wong, man. And he's like, or was it Leo Wong this time, or was it? Oh no, it was Inez Wong who did this. But she's like, oh god, why couldn't we have been somewhere with like less bugs? And she like smacks a bug on her face, and it turns out to be the left testicle of Kip's dad.
That was my left testicle. I don't know how Billy West does that voice. It's amazing though.
It's just well, you can
Yeah.
you can alter it with computers, but I'm sure you could just like he can hit.
Oh no, he did that. I watched one of his like live action like things, and he did that voice.
He did that voice.
Yeah, and the other one's Tress McNeil. I thought it was Amy Wong. Lauren, what's her name?
Lauren
The
Tom,
voice
yeah,
actor. Lauren Tom. I thought it was her, but no, it says Tress McNeil, who is just a goddess of voice acting. She's
she must
pretty
be.
much in
Yeah.
every like great.
I mean, when you hear Tress McNeil,
You know
maybe
it's
except
her.
for a few, it's her. She
Yeah,
has like a
yeah,
very
like
distinct
Dot,
set of voices. Yeah, but
Hattie or whatever, Mom,
Hattie, Mom, the midwife, the computers, like
Daisy from the re oh jeez the remake for DuckTales.
sure. Yes, that's right. That's right. Yeah, Daisy's the
Yeah,
in there. Yeah,
she has very distinct like 5 distinct ones that she uses a lot, but
yeah,
then there's other ones that you don't know.
that's
And
true. Yeah.
anytime you see anyone talk about who their favorite voice actor is other than like Billy West, because they're like, oh, it's got to be Tress McNeil. Like there's no one else kind of thing,
Yeah.
right? Like they
The
all
two of them
kind of
have like
agree.
so many voices, and then also like Phil LaMarche and those guys. They all have.
Oh yeah, yeah. Don't
Or
get me
Maurice
wrong, they're
LaMarche,
good too,
sorry. Yeah,
but
Phil Lamar and Maurice LaMarche both have like quite a few voices. But yeah,
you put them together.
I did. They're both very good. So, any
John
case,
DiMaggio, don't forget about that.
he has like 6, I think, in this film. So that work. That's still very. That's still very good. It's
Oh
still
well,
at the very end.
at the end,
Taranga
yeah.
is just Katie Sagal is Taranga. Like, she
Yeah,
has
yeah.
like just the one
She's
character.
an actress, not a voice actress.
Yeah,
It's one of those things that they probably did this in everything. Like even if you look at The Simpsons, for instance, Lisa's only
one
voiced
person.
by
Yeah,
Nancy, and she only ever voices her.
you're,
Maybe she's done a
you're
couple other, but like
yeah, Yardley Smith or whatever her name is. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Nancy Cartwright is Bart, and she does like
correct.
Ralph
Sorry.
and Nelson, all those ones. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's true. So any case,
my point exactly. We
yeah.
don't know. Yeah, we only
So
know.
they're married now, and everybody is okay. Cool. We've
Rue.
gone to this, the Fun Rue and everything. So Amy and Kif are now quote unquote married, and we return back to the Planet Express and everything. And so the professor is still trying to do all like he's trying to figure out what all this stuff is. And he mentions that this blip in the universe, this crack in the universe, they're going to have a convention about it, or they're going to have some kind of symposium about what to do with it with all these scientists. So we get the calling all scientists thing again, and they don't want to go. His crew don't want to go because basically they don't care, but only the professor, and he has to drag them along for one reason or another. So they all go to the symposium, and we have another guest star in this, and also, oh my god, everybody's dead. Stephen Hawking, who is now also passed. And it's actually
Well, this
him.
was
And
this is 2008, so it's been almost
it's been a long
20
time, I
years.
know, but like these guys, Stephen Hawking was older, and he's also had some illnesses as well, so I can understand that. But Brittany Murphy was only 27 or 28. Like it's unfortunate.
Yeah, yeah.
But any case, Hawking is doing the presentation for it, and he every time he's on screen, like even when we had him before in the What If Machine episode, where
Yeah.
and Al Gore was there too, but he was talking about like, yeah, I'm going to steal that. I'm going to call it a Hawking hole or whatever. You're going to steal nothing. And then even in this, he's talking about, yeah, I wrote a book, and then as soon as it sold, and it turned out to be a lie, like he didn't care. So they just make Stephen Hawking out to be like this crook scientist who just kind of like, because he's like who he is, he just gets away with saying whatever he wants, and he gets paid for it. So, any case,
I was like Stephen Hawking.
yeah. So he's the head of the convention at this point, and so everybody's talking like, okay, how are we going to deal with this whole thing? And the professor said we need to actually get up there and study it. To his surprise is also Wormstrom, who also wants
Was
to study
agreeing
it.
with him.
Yeah, he actually agrees with him. However, only one head scientist is allowed to run the experiment, so they have to have a battle. Okay, a quote unquote battle, which is called, I think, what did they call it? Death Ball or something? And
Something like that.
it's basically, so if you ever played a game where you had like a little maze and like a little square container thing, and it had glass over the top so you could see where the ball, and you were trying to get the ball from one end of this maze to the other by turning it either like left or right or up and down. Okay. This
Yeah.
basically allows you to get it to the other side. So what this death ball game is the professor's crew versus Wormstrom's grad students, and they get to be in this thing. There's a blue team and a red team. I think Professor's blue team, right?
Yep. Professor Blue.
And basically every time they hit a ball, it tags them, and then if it gets into a hole, the point goes to their team. The only thing is the maze and the balls are like 3 times the size of the people. So
Yeah, a big like a 10-foot
yeah.
size ball.
Yeah, it's quite dangerous. So Wormstrom and Farnsworth are up in this safe area, kind of safe area, where one of them is left or right, or horizontal and vertical or something, and the other, no,
Yeah.
I think it's left and right, and the other one has up and
Horizontal.
down. Is that what it is?
Vertical,
Okay.
yeah.
So one of them can go side to side, one can go up and down, and basically and they control it however they want. So they're trying to get with their teams. So, any case, a whole bunch of shenanigans, and to skip over the whole thing, the professor's team wins, right? Like 6-5 or something. So the professor is allowed to do the expedition to the place. Okay.
Yeah,
So
to the anomaly.
now to the end of this, and the only reason I bring it up is because it's important for the plot for Fry. Is that so at the end because Colleen was there cheering him
Wow.
on.
Yes.
Oh, go ahead.
Right before this,
Yeah, go
they
ahead.
went to like an amusement park,
Yeah.
and Fry asked her, "Will you be moved in
Moved in
with
by
by
me. That's
me?"
right. Yes.
I do like the little joke there. It's like,
Yeah.
can I, rather than asking, "Can I move in with you?" It's just like, "Will you be moved in
By
by
me.
me?"
So
Kind of thing,
it's
right?
so fancy
And
yet
she said
not.
yes.
Yeah. And she did say
Right.
yes. That's right.
Yeah. So
So yeah,
then, then this death ball thing happens.
yes. So she doesn't
Fry
definitely wants
won.
that. So Fry's is going like steady with his new girlfriend. Everything is good. And yes, so they're at the end and she says, "Oh, come here, winner," and she gives Fry a big kiss and everything. But then on the other team, she says, "Come here, loser," and she goes and kisses some Chinese guy on the other team. Fry is like absolutely perplexed. Like,
Hey,
what are you doing? My lips are over here. And she's
Chu.
like,
His
"Well,
name
this
is
is my
Chu.
boyfriend." He's like, "But I'm your boyfriend. You're both my boyfriend." And we're introduced to Colleen's little relationship. She
Four
has
others. Yeah.
4 other
Chu
boyfriends. Yeah,
Dulu.
sure.
Ndulu. How do you pronounce that?
Nudu? Yeah, Nudu is fine, I'm sure. Is that,
Yeah. And then Shlomo.
is that the black guy? Shlomo is the
Yeah.
Jewish guy.
And then Bolt Rollins.
Bolt, roll it right, the
Which
big
I
tough
did not
guy.
know this because I'm like, why does he get two names, like a first and last name? So I looked him up. And do you remember that one episode where they were trying to set up people with Leela?
Yes.
All right,
Oh,
so
he's
yeah,
one of them.
he was one of the ones. He was the one that sat down and said, Amy's like, Bolt here is a hyper sled racer with 10 wins on the pro circuit, and he's like, hi. I was like, and then Bender's like, I think she means the gay circuit, and he's
Right,
like, oh,
right.
I wish those cats can really fly.
Those cats
So,
right.
so
Oh, wow, that was a long time ago. Okay,
yeah,
interesting.
that was episode 4 according
Right.
to this.
Yeah.
Labor's Lost Love.
Loves
Labor's
Labor's Lost in
Love.
Space. The first time we meet Zap Brannigan. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Okay, interesting.
So
That's right.
yeah, that's the first time we see him. So because I've noticed that like because they have a lot. I've said this before. There's character sheets that they'll use, like if they need
Mhm.
background characters to say something or something like that,
Yeah.
they'll use them. And
Yeah.
then eventually, like for instance, Randy he was just a background character for the longest time before he had a name, and then they added a name and stuff like that, and he started
Yeah.
getting a little more like he was Bender's friend when Fry was off doing some in
Right.
future episodes.
But then Bender's jealous when Fry hangs out with him, right?
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
okay.
So yeah, there's a
Those
little
4 and Fry now make 5
5.
unique
Yeah.
boyfriends for Colleen. So they all go. Here we go. This is where it comes in, Mitchell. So they're back at the headquarters after finding out that they get to go on this expedition and everything. And Fry's like, I don't know what to do because like I like Colleen, I love Colleen, but I don't know if I can like be with her. And Leela chimes in, well, what are you going to do? Like, you're all going to sleep together like hamsters, which is one of my favorite jokes. I've used that joke in
I
the
do like
past.
that one, yeah.
And then he says, no, no, no. And I guess Colleen, I guess Colleen might have a bit of money actually, because she's quite high up in her job. And all of them, I guess, pay rent. But they have an apartment that apparently has like 5 or 6 different rooms, because everybody gets a room and they all get a shelf in the refrigerator. So everybody has like equal shares, including Colleen, into this place. So Zoidberg then says, what does Zoidberg say? Because this is the joke, right? This is
Oh
the
man,
joke.
I'm gonna butcher this because it's coming from memory. But basically, it's like, oh come on, Fry, isn't it better to have one slice of cake than none at all, even when that cake is being slathered and touched by sweaty bodies? But hey,
all
something like that.
sweating against the cake.
Yeah. Then
so remember the joke, because that is a good joke, and it's so funny that Zoidberg is like doing the dance while he does it, right? So any case, Kif and Amy, who are also there as well, but they say to Fry, well, listen, if you love her, everything will work out. And so Fry says, okay, I do love her, I'm going to do it. So we'll fast forward
so
to
he
that.
doesn't go on the mission.
He doesn't go on the mission with them. So it's everybody else minus Kif. Kif is with Zap because that's his job. Everybody else goes. And I'll just cut with Fry. I guess he buys a futon. All right.
I
So
do
he
like
moves
that little
out.
joke, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and I should say this as well. Since Fry has been with this girl, Bender has been, being Bender and starting to be increasingly more jealous that he's not hanging out with him as much, even to the extent of like buying a cabbage for him because he thinks humans like cabbages, drawing a little face on it when Fry leaves to like, oh, at least I have my cabbage friend, and then punching him in the face. So
Out of jealousy, when Fry says no, yeah,
yeah, I
didn't
gotta go.
he drew
He
Fry's
drew a
face on
fry
the
face on
lettuce.
the cabbage, and then as soon as he puts it, he looks all sad at it, and he starts punching it in rage and breaks it. So that was a little bit beforehand. So Fry made the choice; he's moving out. Okay, and then even Bender's like, "Oh, but she could like sleep with us or whatever, or live with us," but it doesn't work. So Fry buys a futon and he brings a suitcase, takes the pipeline all the way to her place, and it's one of those apartments that the house. The apartment building goes
Yeah,
down when you select the floor. It's kind of hilarious.
yeah. It's
And
the opposite of an elevator.
yeah,
Instead of the elevator
brings the
going up and
building down.
down, the whole entire building goes up
Yeah.
and down. And I gotta think to myself, that building would probably be so busy for like 4
Oh
hours of the day, like
god.
2 in the morning and 2 in the
Yeah, man.
afternoon, and then like
When you're an
randomly.
adult, you're just like, man, rush hour would be horrible
Oh god, yeah,
because
because the
everybody
whole
lives on
building
one
has to move.
floor. Everybody just
Yeah,
lives on one floor, right? So you would have to be like, okay, I'm going to go onto this floor, this floor, this floor, this floor. So yeah, it'd be crazy. The person who lives at the bottom of it would never see sunlight,
basically, yeah.
and then the top person would constantly be going up and down, right? So, or at least feel like that. But in any case, Fry gets there. He hits the button, the door comes open, and Colleen's like, "Welcome to your new home" and everything. And he comes inside, and here we go. This is the payoff of the joke. They're all in there. It's like, okay, yeah, why don't you come inside and see the gang? And I think it's Nudu, right? Nudu,
Yeah.
and he
Would you
says,
like a slice of cake?
"Delicious cake."
Delicious cake? Oh,
So there we go.
it's
So
just so
everybody,
good. It's
yeah,
just so good.
everybody's all slathered around the cake, right? So yeah, and I like how there's like exactly one more slice left for Fry.
You
So
know,
it's all good.
it's pretty good.
Oh
Honestly,
man,
those 2 are my favorite jokes, and they're
those are
from
great
Zoidberg,
jokes.
funny enough, yeah.
All right, so we cut back to the Planet Express, and the crew has gone up there because they won the death ball thing against Wormstrom, and before they get to the anomaly, I think that's what they call it, the anomaly, it's just the crack in the universe. Wormstrom tries calling, and Professor's like, I don't want to hear it, and he has Hermes hang up on him. Now, when they
But how
get
does he
there,
have him hang up on him?
the butt press or something, or the
The
hanging up,
crack slam.
the crack slam. Thank you. Yeah. So
Yep,
Hermes picks it up with his ass cheeks, and he just swipes it and slams it down on the
receiver.
button or whatever, the receiver. There you go.
It's an
Yeah.
old phone, like from like the 90s, where it
Yeah.
has
It's no buttons
the
in it.
head part. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I just find that funny because it's a video call to
Yeah.
so he has to pick up a phone receiver with
Retro
his butt
futuristic, man. Yep.
and
Exactly.
slap it down.
No,
And
don't do it.
then
He watches him do it and it turns him off, right?
no, not the crack slam.
Yeah. So, in any case, because Bender is a robot and he doesn't need to breathe in space, they send Bender out to go and test out the anomaly. So he's got like the devices, the radar, and all this kind of stuff. So they send him out there, and Bender's like kind of, he's pissed off at Fry, he's
Pendering.
pissed off at them, he's just being Bender. So he gets there and he's like, you know what, stupid anomaly, you can bite my shiny metal, and he hits the thing with his ass, and it basically shoots them all like a huge wave, like a concussive wave that basically sends him and the Planet Express ship like hurling through space. So they're fine, but it's just to
Like
show,
vinegar and baking soda, kind of just that
just
kind of thing.
explodes. So basically, we find out that tech, or at least like mechanical technology, electronic technology, cannot go through this without exploding. All right, there's no way it can be done. So they land back, and that's basically, I think that's actually how like the part 2 end goes with this whole thing. And then remind me, what happens after this then? Is this when we have the professor saying, oh, I was a stupid fool and I should talk to Wormstrom? That's the next portion, right?
No, it's Fry and all his
Oh, he's okay.
polygamist
He's sitting with him. Okay.
friends.
I'll have
And
to go
Colleen
back
is
and
in
forth.
out
Yeah.
there, yeah.
Because he's kind of on his own little,
Yeah, there's a lot,
story.
like
Yeah.
we kind of said, this is not quite coherent as the last one. Even
Yes.
the last one we did kind of jump a little, but it flowed better.
Yes.
Not that this
This
isn't
one is,
amazing.
there are two different
Yeah.
stories that are connected by the same thing, but part of it,
Yeah.
right?
So yeah,
Actually, it's only up until a certain point. Like it's only for a
yeah,
little while that this happens. So
it's a little slow, and then it
yeah.
just kind of goes.
Yes. So Fry's sitting at the dinner table in his new apartment with the other 4 guys, and Colleen is pouring them all wine, and she looks all dressed up, and she's all saying like, "Oh, I love my life. I've got 5 great boyfriends. I got a promotion in my job, and like my life is sweet and all this stuff." And actually, I do like this joke as well because so Fry is trying to be romantic with her, and he's trying to work out like all through this
Toaster.
polygamy kind of thing, but he keeps on saying, "I'd like to make a toast," and then each one of them always is saying like, "Oh, you're talking to me." He's like, no, I'm not talking to you. So I'd like to make a toast. To me? No. So, anyways, they go through this whole thing with this whole whatever you want to call it, this whole joke set. But it turns out Colleen is all dressed up because she has yet another date. She's going out with another guy and leaving the five of them there, which is like the final straw. Fry's like, okay, I can't do this. I'm done. I'm done. Like it's too much. And that's basically where that portion of the story ends with it. And Fry is just very upset at the whole time. Okay. Now we go back to the Planet Express crew, and the
They're
professor
in the
is saying like,
hospital
"Oh, they're in the hospital. Who's in
with
the
Bender
hospital?
because
Oh, Bender with his
Bender
black
hurt himself.
box, right? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So what happens when you're in the hospital and you're kind of dying?
You might
A
get a
great
visit.
actor
You might get a
comes and
visit from a
visits you.
celebrity. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Oh, true. Right. Oh, right. Oh, right. Yeah. There's a lot of little
It's
things,
just it's a lot of little segments of jokes and stuff like that
but
because like
they
it's
do add on to it, right?
yeah,
So
they do move towards it. They aren't just like clips
right,
and stuff
and
like,
I
hey, here's a fun
And I
clip.
also
No.
forgot, right? And I also forgot to mention this as well. So before Bender went out into space to test the anomaly, he had been saying to them that because he was upset with all the humans because Fry abandoned him in his mind. He's saying, "Well, the League of Robots was around, like you guys would all be dead." And it turns, and Hermes just says that's just a fairy tale for little robots, like it's not real. And Bender gets pissed off by it. So then Calculon visits him in the hospital afterwards, and Bender makes like he's like, oh wow, like that looks kind of fun that I'd want to be part of Calculon's. I think he says like the paparazzi, right? He's like, I'm going to be you're like a stalker, a professional stalker.
The first of two things I hear he becomes a paparazzi.
Right, paparazzi. Yeah, I know, right? So he becomes a stalker first, then becomes paparazzi in the Comedy Central run. So the stalker, but Calculon is so impressed with the abilities that Bender has as a stalker that he's like, "Yeah, you could be my personal stalker. I will hire you to be that stalker character." And he says, "Great." And they do have conversations where Bender mentions the League of Robots, to which Calculon just kind of laughs him off
Always shuts him down.
and says like, "Oh, Bender, that's not a thing. It's never been a thing. Like, leave it alone." And Bender's like sad because he thinks that the League of Robots truly is not a thing. Which, of course, we've never heard of the League of Robots before. This is made up for the movie,
Yeah.
but it's basically just like the idea that there's a cabal of powerful robots that are underground somewhere, and at any point they can just revolutionize and just take over the world and kill all humans.
The Illuminati is kind of, I would say,
Basic,
adjacent to it, but it's
basically
for
that, yeah,
robots.
just a
Yeah.
bunch of whatever robots. So in this case, we're going to say like rich robots, rich and powerful robots, right? So
Billionaire bot for some reason.
billionaire bot, yes, quite, yes, right, and Calculon himself. What's his face? The bot, yeah, what's his name?
Hedonism bot?
Hedonism bot, thank you. Like he's also rich. He's got a vineyard and such. He's a rich robot. So in any case, Bender's sad at this point. So we then cut back to the Planet Express crew, and the professor is like, "Oh, I should have listened to Wormstrom. He tried to warn me. I'm such a fool. I'm going to call him back." So he does, a few jokes here and there, but he calls him back, and and Wormstrom comes to his office. Now, this is one of my favorite jokes. Wormstrom designs like this little magnifying thing that kind of uses the radiation of the anomaly, and he's able to like manipulate it, right? He's able to copy it. So he says, "I want you to watch this." And so Wormstrom pulls out this barrel of test animals, like baby animals. Like we got a koala, got another panda, got like all these little animals in here. They're all cute little fuzzy animals. So Wormstrom, in like a scientific way, he says, "Watch what happens when I toss this ordinary laboratory koala." So he throws it, and of course, this is in the professor's laboratory, which is on the second floor, and the window's open. So Wormstrom tosses the koala, goes through the what do you call it? The energy of the anomaly that they've created, unharmed, which Professor makes mention of, and then you hear this because it went through the window and it just landed on the road. It's like, it's so hilarious. So it's dark, but it's hilarious. But then they have these little toy robots, and Wernstrom demonstrates like, look, now when you throw a robot, and of course robots, whatever, robots are robots, they explode on impact every time they hit the anomaly. So I
think it's the same character model as the one that we saw in the superhero one, where the guy who was mugging them helped a little robot. Yeah.
Right. So they just toss those guys at him, and it just explodes, and they're having fun doing it. But it shows that the electronics do not go through this anomaly. Okay. But real life tissue can. So now they have to tell the well, I guess I'm trying to remember how, because they have to do another death ball battle again, right? And this is for,
That's way later, I
it's
think.
a bit later, right? Okay. So, oh, right, the diamond, right? Okay. So the two of them were like, okay, we need to tell the president because we need to do more scientific research about it. So Nixon, who's in the movie, obviously, and he says, "No, you damn long hairs, you don't get to do this anymore. It's time for military action." So of course he sends in Zap Brannigan along with Kiff, and
Which I
yeah,
do have an issue with this again.
mhm,
It's Dupe, which is the Democratic Organization of Planets.
yeah,
They're kind of like RUN in a way, which is
yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's yeah, so it's like the president of Earth or whatever can't really get Dupe to do this. So
But
I'm
it's
a
not.
little
But
confused in what it
it's
is.
so Dupe. So I
Or this
think
should
it's
just be like the Earth
so
branch of it.
Zap Brannigan is the military or the Navy, like the Space Navy for Earth, but he works
Space Marines.
primarily alongside Dupe because, like, Nixon is, or the president of Earth is essentially one of the dominant figureheads of Dupe, right, along with the other hundreds of people. So he can probably demonstrate to his military, or tell his military, his navy, to go investigate or do something with it if he wants to. That's probably like his right to do so as the president of Earth. But you're right. Like, I mean, I'm sure the other dupe planets are probably investigating in a different way, but maybe the best scientists are more
Ah,
so
yeah, yeah, there we
right
go.
here, right?
Well, like it can make sense. I'm just making it a little harder because I'm
Sure.
like, well,
Yeah,
Dupe
whatever.
is Dupe, not planet Earth.
Not Earth, right? Not just Earth,
Yeah.
but I think Zap Brannigan's first and foremost planet that he protects is Earth. He's the military commander of Earth. So I think
Yeah, it's
that's
actually
the
very true. Yeah,
yeah.
because we don't really see any other alien commanders at all throughout
No.
the entire.
Not until
Oh yeah,
Zap
no,
gets
yeah,
canceled, which we won't go
yeah,
into here, but not until that time. But in any case, so so at the sending off of the Nimbus, like the Zap Brannigan ship, everybody is there, like either protesting or saying goodbye to their loved ones because they all have to go on this trip, such as Amy and the professor and Wormstrom are protesting. And we find out that Colleen's promotion was that she was made chief of police, so she's actually quite high up in the police department. So she and Earl, or
Earl.
URL, and what's his name?
Oh man, I completely forgot
I always
because
forget his name. It's not Freddie or something, but it's like one of
Smitty.
those. Smitty, thank you.
Yeah,
So the
because
three of them.
on the character sheet here, they're listed as Smitty and Earl, not
There
like
you go.
Smitty and then down the line Earl.
Earl, right.
They're put
Smitty and
together.
Earl, right. So the three of them, right, including Colleen, the three of them go and they by Nixon, they're told to go and beat Wormstrom and the professor because they're protesting, and they use like their lightsaber batons. And we also see Fry is there, and he's stowing away because he cannot be anywhere where Colleen is because he's still like heartbroken
Yeah.
over the fact because he loved her so much, right?
There was a little montage of how sad he was
That's
going
right. He
through
was
all
seeing
the parts of
everybody
his
love
life.
each other.
Yeah, he went to a therapist,
Yeah.
but
Mhm.
his therapist was making out with the
The
guy that
mayor's aide. Yeah,
the
that's
mayor's
right.
aide.
Yep.
He
Little
went to go to the arcade,
cameo.
playing
Yep.
normal combat, and then
Yeah.
the characters were singing that. He saw
Yep.
ducks in the park. They were
Yep.
kissing.
They're
So
kissing everybody.
he's just getting kind of depressed.
Yeah, everybody's with someone except for him,
Yeah.
right? That to
When
Fry.
when you get broken up with in a relationship, you always see other happy couples, and you just get mad or
Yeah,
sad.
exactly.
You don't deserve love.
Right.
But
So
Fry went
Fry's
the more
like,
sad route.
right. So Fry's like, I got to get away. So he hides he stows away on the Nimbus, like in a what do you call that? Like a space suit or whatever. And he hides in like the garbage chute. Yeah, the garbage
Tetrapod or
chute of the
something like
shop
that.
or whatever it's called. And the Nimbus takes off. Everybody's sad or happy or whatever. And the professor and Farnsworth are sent to prison.
For
And
protesting.
for protesting, and the Nimbus flies all the way there, and they send off. Well, they're going to send off a missile because research didn't work, so they're gonna try and kill it. They're gonna try and destroy it by sending a missile through the anomaly. But they didn't hear Wormstrom and the professor's uh,
Spiel.
information right about it, so they don't know that electronics can't go through it. So, anyways, they got this missile, and the missile jams. So
Missile
Zap
jam.
Brannigan, yeah,
Missile
missile
jam. I
jam.
got it, Karen. Jeez.
Yeah. I'm
Sorry.
sorry. Yeah, I actually like that one too. And so Zap
Lot of
Brannigan,
jokes.
yes. So Zap Brannigan, as he does, he sends Kiff to go and deal with the missile, and of course, Kiff has to always be the grunt of it. So has to go in and he has to feed through it himself. So meanwhile, Fry gets released in the little dandruff garbage chute or whatever, and he floats on towards
Yeah.
the
It actually
anomaly.
said it was a stowaway place. It actually was labeled on the thing,
Right.
stowaway vent.
Stowaway container or whatever.
Yeah,
So they
yeah.
release him with like
Like
the
36 or
dust.
something like that. So,
Yeah.
yeah, like, there's just a whole bunch of stowaway places for anyone
Right.
on the ship.
Just in case you want to like disappear in space for a while. So Fry floats over to the anomaly area, and during this time, the Zap Brannigan he keeps on hitting the fire button, trying to do it while Kif's working in the back. And the last time he hits it, finally works, but Kif gets caught in the machinery of the actual missile, and
As
he
well
gets
as the
shot.
suit.
Yep, he gets shot out of the Nimbus. And because Kif is connected to it, and he's like the stretchy amphibian creature, it basically goes all the way there. He has a small conversation with Fry because Fry's right there as well, and it gets sucked
I
back.
do like that.
Yeah, how are you doing,
Hey,
Fry?
Fry.
I've been okay. You? Uh,
Yeah.
well, and he goes back. So
What?
Kif slingshots all the way back. He lands right back in the ship, and basically, he doesn't explode it or anything, but Kif
He
dies.
gets crushed.
He
Yeah,
gets
he gets crushed by
and
the
turns
missile.
into
Yeah.
jelly. And Fry disappears into the anomaly. Okay. So later we see that Amy and
Hold on before you get onto that.
Yeah.
Bender's having his little side story here because during the
Right.
part where everyone was sad because like even like everyone's having their sad moment. The professor was crying because he was getting beaten. Amy was crying because Kif was off on an adventure.
Yeah.
Fry was crying because he lost the love of his life.
Colleen. Yes,
Bender was crying because Calculon was like, there is no League of Robots. So Bender tries to go kill himself in a suicide booth.
We go to see the suicide booth, right?
Yeah. So and he's like, he put the coin in with the string attached because Bender's got to be Bender, and he's waiting and he's like, why aren't you killing me? The floor beneath him drops down, and down he drops in a cavern, and what's all there? All the League of Robots.
Yes. And so the League of Robots, which is a real thing, and in order to get into the League of Robots, you have to basically do the staircase of different drinking games or drinking contests.
Yeah, okay. Is like, is everything a drinking thing? Oh,
I didn't think about it, but it is. And so he's like, what?
Drink the flagon. Yeah. Drink the flagon.
So,
and then it just goes up and up and up. And like the last one is a billionaire bot saying, and here's this cognac that's been aged for 10,000 years. And he takes a little eyedropper, drops in the glass, and
then Bender drinks the whole thing rather than the little drop. Right?
Drinks the whole thing.
Drinks the drop too and throws the glass, right?
Yeah.
So in any case, Bender gets in and he is loved by the whole League of Robots, right? They have like their little main people. So yeah, Calculon, Hedonism Bot, Billionaire Bot, all these guys.
Actually, I'm looking at everyone cheering for him. We see a lot of people. We see
all the robots basically in the show.
Smoker, Fender, Earl's there. The Donbot. What's the big robot that he fought in the wrestling one? What was that one called?
Yeah,
remember?
I can't remember I always kept calling him the Crush. It's the guy they hide in his leg, right? Yeah, he's in it later. So
we see Mousepad. There's a good chunk of robots we see here. I think they don't have that many robot models to put in here, so they're just like, just throw them in for.
They're all in it for the joke, yeah. So, in any case, we have all of them. And Bender is now part of the League of Robots, so it does exist, and he's now part of it. And everything he does now, he can be like, hey, I've got connections now with the League of Robots. And Calculon is basically their head of the club. He's the president of the club.
Yeah.
So, we get Amy's sad. Everybody's sad that Kif's dead and all this kind of stuff. And they have like a kind of a funeral for him over back on his planet with the jar.
Right. Oh God, yeah. So we get the grand midwife again.
She's now also the grand funeral actor or something, or funeral director or something. And so she deals with it. They have this whole thing, and Amy, for the rest of this portion of the movie, Amy is sad because obviously Kif is dead, and everybody's like, oh, that's too bad. So I think we get a scene of Fry floating through the abyss, but you don't really see anything. It's just cloud and mist and all this stuff, but he's losing oxygen. Okay.
Because of the electronicness of his backpack.
Something like that, or it's just ran out of oxygen, something like this. But he's basically going to suffocate in this place because he doesn't realize what's happening. So he's still gone. And then what is it now? We have, because we went through the League of Robots, so now Bender is now comfortably with them, and he keeps on like being like, oh, we should kill all humans. And they're like, oh, that's just a thing, Bender. We don't.
The last human we killed was like 300 years ago. And it was a very sick Girl Scout.
Like it was.
I do like that little joke.
Yeah, but our plaque says we kill all humans. So
The
And
billionaire bot
Bender
also had a monocle made with an actual eye, which Bender destroyed because it was like
had
no
human in it.
human
Yes. Yeah,
should set foot in this. So
that's
he
right.
squishes it. No, I'm blind.
So the whole point of this is Bender has been preaching the idea of like he hates humans and they should all be killing humans, despite the fact that he's friends with humans. And Calculon should know this, but whatever the case, they don't know it enough to call him out on it at this time. Okay, so after our League of Robots, we get to the professor and Farnsworth and Wormstrom, who are in the prison. What is it called? The
County prison or something, but they break out
Fulcrum
essentially.
County, like it's for scientists or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So Leela goes in and she gets them like a makeshift smelloscope in the cake or whatever, so they're able to smell this whole thing. And they're like, "Whoa, do you smell this?" Like, "Yeah, we got to warn the president. Like something crazy is going on in that anomaly." And like, "Oh man!" And the professor says, "I wish we could just get out of here." And Pazuzu from another episode of Futurama, I'm trying to remember what the episode was. When they all became Teenage Mutant Leela's Hurdles. I remember that because they all
Yep.
became young. And Pazuzu said, like, "Oh, you have 2 more wishes, Professor." Now he rescues them again, and he brings them all the way to the White House, and he saves them, and he brings them all the way there. And he says, "Okay, you have 1 wish left, Professor," and he flies off. So Pazuzu shows up in this movie as well, and the professors, jump in. They tell Nixon like something crazy is happening in there. You need to deal with this, or we need to deal with this really really soon. And I think he says we need to. This is when they have their other death ball thing, right? It's like we need to surround the
Nope.
planet.
Nope.
Or is that afterwards? Is that
Yeah.
when?
So literally, this is where it cuts to Fry seeing evil for the first time, and
Right,
then there's the anomaly, and everyone's like, "Whoa, whoa, something's happening up there!" And then that's when you see the giant tentacles pop
right,
out and stuff like that.
right. So Fry's in there, and he sees the eye, and goes right, and then they start coming out, and people are freaking out. And that's when, but it starts to attack Earth, right? Like
Yes.
it's about to,
Yeah.
and
So
then
yeah, then it starts attacking people. We get Leela. Sorry, not Leela. Amy talking to her mom, saying like, "This sucks," and I don't care. I want
right, and all
grandbabies.
across the
And then
universe, people. Right, okay, so it's not Earth that
people are
gets hit
getting attacked
first,
by the
right? Okay,
tentacles. So then it
so
goes to like the space, like
Zoidberg and
goop and
his
everything
planet,
going.
right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We get
Then it
this a
goes to like
cameo of Uncle Zoid,
Herman, whatever it is.
Uncle Zoid. Oh, Harry Shearer, but he's or not. No, Hank Azaria, but it's not him. It's Maurice LaMarche. He didn't come back for the movie. I checked. I actually checked that. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, he doesn't show up for it. It's unfortunate, but yeah, so he's not in it. But the
sad.
character is. So Uncle Zoid was there, and he gets hit. And yeah, Amy's parents, all
Harold.
right, all these people. So everybody's like freaking out because all these other planets start getting hit by these tentacles, right?
Yeah.
So the professor and Wormstrom then have a second death battle. They do,
No, not yet, not yet.
but
Because
it doesn't come to the Earth yet, does it?
no, they're it's people are freaking out, so they sent Dupe, and this is another joke I like is
Right.
Zap like narrating, and there's the
Mhm.
Nimbus going through and stuff like that. Then it zooms to him. He's in a cafe with a joystick controlling
Right.
it, trying to shoot it. Right? Hey,
Oh, right.
waiter, can you please
This is when they find
fry
out.
these
Yeah,
fries?
this is where they find out they can't shoot. Like lasers and everything don't work on this
Yeah.
creature. They can't destroy it military. Oh, I see. Right. You're right.
Yes.
Okay. Sorry. So Earth tries to defend
Yeah.
itself. They
There's a
realize they
little thing
can't
there.
do it. That's why they need to have a defense. And the defense is going to be we're going to put a shield around the Earth, right?
Yeah.
This shield is either going to be Dimondium, which is the professor's, or Diamondillium, which is Wormstrom's. Wormstrom wins a second death ball match. We don't see it, but he wins. So the planet constructs all these Diamondillion little glass shards or whatever they put all around the Earth. Wormstrom declares, "Yeah, everything is safe now. We're safe from it, but no dice. It breaks right through, no problem, and Earth is infested with all these tentacles. And there's only like a few quote unquote survivors or people that are, because every time the tentacle hits you, it goes to your neck, and then you basically become like a loving zombie of the tentacle. You adore
What
it.
would be the equivalent of this movie? Like zombie bite kind of thing?
It would be, well, it'd be like a invasion of the body snatcher kind of thing. Like you're taking over, or the thing. You're basically taken over by something, and you're no
Yeah.
longer you. Yeah. So it's one of
You're
those
you, but
things.
you're not
Yeah.
you. You're the Borg would be another kind of
Or the
thing. You're
Borg, yeah, like you're
simulated
a
in a
hive
way.
mind, but you still
Yeah.
have thoughts. You're still able to think and everything. You can still
You're
fight it,
just
but you
connected.
believe that it's a good thing because that's what Fry does, right?
Yeah.
So, any case, everybody's there and everybody's like getting like attacked by these things. We have the whole montage of this, and we have Leela saving the professors, Hermes, Zoidberg, but Zoidberg gets quickly caught, and Amy's also safe, right? All these guys. So they're all in there. They hunker down in the Planet Express headquarters, and of course, robots are immune to this. They don't have a neck, or they don't have any thoughts to do so. So that's fine.
They're inorganic. They're inorganic. Yeah.
Yeah. And Fry is revealed to be like an emissary to it, saying like, "Hey, everyone, love the tentacle. You should love the tentacle," because he was the first one with it. And he's like, "We shall be with Evo," and he calls it Evo, and it's not he or she, it's Schlee, and it's not him or her, it's Schler or Schlee or something like that. So, any case, the whole thing with the gender, because Evo is just like with everything. So I'll fast forward a little bit because it's just basically a bunch of people like they're trying to get away, and every so often new Planet Express crew members keep on getting hit by the tentacle and becoming part of the whole tentacle situation. So the professor makes these makeshift little like neck protectors under the guise of like helping them, but it turns out he himself has a tentacle, so he's trying to let their guard down. Leela escapes, Hermes gets caught, and Leela and Amy escape. They're the last two basically in New York. They find Zap Brannigan. They escape to like a cabin. Zap is seductive and
I do
seduces.
like this little joke there where like
Yeah,
oh hey, we found a cabin for like what was it, like with the
the
old
soup,
soup days.
soup prohibition. Yeah, like the
Yeah,
alcohol prohibition, but soup
yeah,
prohibition. Yeah,
bathtub minestrone.
yeah.
Mm.
So
I, I
luckily they
I
have
like that
food.
idea of just like like instead of alcohol, it's soup.
Soup. There was some issue with the soup. So any case, Zap and Amy and Leela all escape in this cabin with the soup prohibition, and Zap seduces Amy by like using her feelings for missing Kif. They
I
sleep
listen to you,
together.
Amy. Not a day goes by where I hardly think of him.
Right.
I do like that little joke.
Yeah, and Leela gets pissed off, but then of course the tentacles show up and they get Zap and Amy while they're in bed or whatever, and Leela
Post
catches
coital.
them. Yeah. So Leela escapes, and she's able to get a piece of the tentacle because I think it wrapped around itself and squeezed it. So basically,
Yeah.
the only thing that can damage it is itself that we know of at this point. So she gets a piece of this little tentacle thing. She goes to the back to the headquarters. She does a little bit of research herself, and she finds out this tentacle is not really a tentacle, as she calls it, a genticle, which it means it's like a reproductive organ that is just like stretching across the universe and like infecting all these people. But nobody else knows this. So Leela, we leave Leela for a minute, but she's going to go undercover, and we get to see Fry. He's basically become an entire
New
religion,
religion. Yeah,
right?
Pope of a new religion.
Pope
Yeah.
of a new religion. And so he has like the hat and everything. Zoidberg is like his second in command and
Yeah,
everything.
like the Catholic faith, like kind of picture
Yeah.
like a bishop or whatever you want to call it, a
Yes.
cardinal. He's
Yes.
dressed like that, but like it's tentacle themed would be the
Yes.
best way on the hat.
So yeah, he's like, okay, well, bring her in or whatever, and we find out that he's talking about Colleen. So Colleen was left over as well, and after he says like, yeah, this person like she broke my heart and all this kind of stuff, and she says like, yeah, you were never enough for me. No one's ever enough for me, and all this stuff. And he says, yeah, I get it, and he forgives her, but then he puts the
Right. Yeah.
tentacle on her, and she becomes part of the whole thing, right? So as a pope, he's going to talk to the whole universe or talk to his planet, I guess, whatever the case. And Evo is going to talk through him. And so we get this this tentacle literally go through Fry's like
It's a little
head
weird.
into his mouth and come out, and it starts talking, and we get the voice of David Cross. So David Cross, who is Tobias Funke from like Arrested Development and a few other things.
That's really
He's
about it.
yeah.
That you should really ever know this guy for.
He's also a comedian, does other things. But yeah, so he's speaking through like literally through Fry's mouth and everything, and basically saying like, my children, I noticed you from across the whole universe and all this stuff, and I like, wow, who's that? And professing his love for them. So then Leela shows up under the guise of being under a tentacle spell, but she actually is just lying,
It's a
and
garden hose.
it's a pink garden hose
Purple
or whatever.
garden hose.
So then she goes in front and she says, listen, everybody, you've been had. This is a pervert monster creature from another universe. This is not a tentacle, it's a genticle. He's trying to mate with you. And everybody, like, including Fry, all freaks out and says, like, no, I'm done with, no, get out of here. And like everybody rips out the tentacles. And the pervert monster, Evo, admits, okay, I just wanted to bang one out
Yeah.
with your universe. But now that I've kind of got to know you, I wouldn't mind trying out, like dating you or something. So if you want, we should try this. So he removes himself from the universe and he goes back into his hole and says like, well, I'm going to, I'll contact you for a date. And we have this whole thing about like the whole universe, I guess. It gets kind of weird. The whole universe becomes dating this monster creature. And they're all like having discussions about like, okay, so if he calls us, do we agree to go on a date? If we go on this date, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna like? Like I guess you could say like stereotypically what the girl side would do, like what they're discussing with their boyfriend or
Yeah,
with their
yeah.
girlfriends or something,
So
right?
I went out with you,
I'm gonna
bro,
go out
and
with
like
this
he
guy, but
treated me
like
so well.
how far should I go? And like, should I do that? Like stuff like this. And so they're all being very, very picky with it. But Evo calls. They all go on a date. All billions and billions and billions of them, hence the billion backs. They all go on a date with him. They have a really nice time. He's a major gentleman, but all of them are like, well, has he committed? Has he shown us any commitment to this universe? Can we trust him? It's like, no, I don't want to be hurt anymore. So this little group of them decide, okay, we're not going to do this, or we're gonna dump him. Now, on the other side, we have Bender with his League of Robots. And I did forget to mention this as well. When Leela and Zap and Amy were all hiding from the tentacles in the first part, Bender was able to hide them in that giant robot's foot. And
Feels funny.
My leg feels funny. And they were found out because it was too hot in the room and they had to get out of there. And then they didn't get hurt or anything. And Bender got them out of the room. But then Calculon called him out for being a hypocrite about actually hating humans when he actually himself loves humans. So Bender took offense, challenged him to a duel with like planetary annihilator guns, and he basically cheated and shot Calculon. At this point, Calculon is
destroying his arm.
Yeah. Yes, knocked out his arm and everything. Calculon's fed up with him and says, you know what, Bender, here, you can be president. I don't want anything to do with this club anymore. And that's where we are now. So Bender's now saying like, well, screw these humans. They don't hang out with us. They don't do anything for us anymore. And like, it's blah, 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 all of Bender's frustrations. So he says, I'm going to get an army of the damned and I'm going to take over the world and force them to hang out with us. So we get a cameo of the robot devil. Yeah. The robot devil. He says, sure, Bender, you can have the army of the damned, but I want your firstborn son. So Bender's like, okay. So Bender has a son that he takes and kicks him into the fire.
Whoa, Bender. That was pretty cruel, even for me. No backsies.
No backsies. So Bender gets his army of the damned. So we cut over back to the group. They're flying. They're using like a wooden ship. They're flying to Evo, and Evo says like, "Oh, hey, Snookums. I thought we were gonna go see a movie, but you know what? I'm glad you're here because I can't wait." And he proposes to, I can't remember, was it Earth 16 or Universe 16 or something? Whatever it was, universe, whatever their universe was. He calls them it in the movie. I'm trying to remember what it was, Universe 6 or something. But he says, "Oh, universe, I want you to marry me. I want you to move in with me." Basically like mirroring the whole thing with Colleen earlier with Fry. And they're like, oh my God, we get to live here with you? Okay, let's do it. So Evo extends all these staircases and elevators across the universe. Literally the universe.
So like an angelic kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
It's an angelic like staircase. I can't remember this. I think there's been paintings or even like movies that depict this.
And as we find out is that this Evo had once projected himself into the world like years and years and years ago, which is what caused like the biblical references to be painted in the first place. Because on his home is like, or on his body, I should say, like, with the tentacles and everything, he's basically this floating planet eye, okay, with a giant eye and cloud vapor that goes around him. It's just something he exudes. And he's like little angel creatures. They look like angels, like human bodies and angel wings, but they act like birds and they just eat off parasites. So people mistook that for the heavenly clouds and angels. So any case, Fry and the whole universe agrees to move in on Evo, and Evo will have food for them. They'll be immortal forever. They'll be comfortable forever. Only thing he asks, do not talk to other universes. Once you move in with me, that's it. You stay with me. A little controlling.
That's kind of a red flag. Toxic to me. That's a red flag.
I agree.
I do want to add something though before this. So like when the staircases come down and stuff like that, that's when Bender decides like, we want to take over Earth, and then Fry's like, yeah, here's the keys, lock up when the world ends, kind of thing,
Right.
right?
Here's the keys to the
And then
Bermuda Triangle.
yeah, and
Yeah.
then Bender's like, well, where are you going? Oh, we're gonna
We're
move
gonna
in
go
with
to heaven.
Evo, kind of
Yeah,
thing.
we're gonna go with Evo. Yeah.
And Bender's like,
Can
take
I
me
come?
with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a very heartful moment. Like, it's one of those things where you're just like,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
like as a viewer,
Yeah.
you're like, oh my god,
Yeah.
Bender's like
Because
very like
Bender's army of the damned has showed
yeah,
up and it's all pirate themed. And
like
he's
yeah,
like,
like,
I did
we
this
we
for
we
you.
can't
Yeah.
take you. Yeah, we can't take you with us. Sorry, Bender.
Yeah.
You're like, no
Machines
robots
don't
allowed.
machines
Machines
don't go to
aren't.
heaven.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we can't take you with us.
Yeah.
And then after that, when all the staircases leave and stuff like that, you hear Bender like kind of cry, "Death to all humans," kind
Right.
of thing, right? So
Yeah.
it's
Very
I
sad,
love it.
poignant.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do love the Bender kind of side of this because like it's not really about him this movie,
Mhm.
but like when we watch it, like I've watched it multiple times. It's just like I kind of like Bender in this one because
Yeah.
it's just jealousy of a friend getting a
Left
girlfriend kind of thing, which has
yeah.
happened. Yes,
Does happen.
like
And he
whenever
gets
you
left
guys
behind. Yeah.
all
And he
got into
literally
your
gets left
relationships,
behind now, right?
there
So
was less time for Mitchell.
so so any case, yeah. All the creatures in the universe that are living creatures leave and the robots are
Well,
left on Earth and they're all just like
we'll say
bored.
like humans and stuff like
They have
that. I don't
nothing. Yeah.
remember seeing dogs or cats being taken up there. So
That's well, I do remember a pigeon getting hit by one of the tentacles, so it must be all
oh
living
yeah,
creatures at that point. But
maybe.
you're right, we don't really see it on the escalator. And I will say as well, the only person that we know that didn't want to go was Leela because she didn't trust him, and so she was trying to fight the people and all this stuff, trying to get away from them. But they ended up like knocking her onto the escalator, and she ended up getting sucked up anyway.
Yeah, she wasn't
So
convinced because she was the
yeah,
only one that never got assimilated. We'll say,
right, basically.
right?
And so she doesn't trust him. She never trusts him. But they all get there and they're all happy, like, "Wow, Evo, like you're so comfortable," and like, "Why did we fight?" And they're all just happy. Okay,
Yeah,
this is what this place has done, just made everybody
heaven.
happy and full, and everything they ever wanted is good. So Leela is there, and she's like, just like, oh, but sure, it's perfect, but there's no sleaze, there's no nothing like this, and she gets offered like, oh, you can leave if you want, but
Last one there to Mattress Island's a
matches on,
loser.
yeah. So Leela gets to go, and she's like, oh, maybe I will be part of it or whatever. Maybe I will get to. Maybe I do want to take part, and they all hug her, and she kind of accepts it. Now that whole thing with Levo saying you cannot talk to other universes, and we know that nothing can go through, though no machines can go through his ectoplasm, whatever you want, not ectoplasm, but whatever the energy is, cannot go through it. So
Electromatter.
electromatter. Oh yeah, matters badass
Badass
grandma. All
grandma.
right. So any case, in on Evo, everybody has like a flower house, kind of like an
Like a
apartment.
tulip there
Yeah,
inside like the stem or
yeah.
whatever.
So Fry is like writing on this paper or leaves or whatever, and he's sending a letter to Bender saying like, "I love it here, and the Evo is the best, and I hope you're doing well and all this stuff." But of course, this flower petal paper stuff is electromatter because it's coming from Evo's universe. So Fry, doesn't think much of it, but he just throws it out, and it lands somehow on Earth. And Bender
To
gets
Bender.
gets yeah, he basically, I think his little butler thing returns or gives it to him, and he looks and he's pissed off that Fry still is so happy, so he throws it, and it turns out that it's basically becomes a weapon. He's like, huh, I have an idea. So using his army of the damned and these like space pirate ships and everything, he uses a little bit of the electromatter from this little letter that Fry sent, puts it on
One
some.
piece of paper.
Yep, it just rips it apart. It's enough to cover a little bit of these anchors that he can then shoot out from these literal space ships, like space pirate ships with the sails and everything.
I love
Into,
that. I
yeah,
love that style of spaceship. We
yeah.
saw it in Treasure
Treasure
Planet,
Planet, right? Yeah,
Reboot, I think also.
sure, sure. So he
Yeah,
shoots it in, and it lands on Evo, and Evo's getting attacked. Okay, and Evo's like in pain because these things are like hurting him. He doesn't
no,
know,
no.
and Bender's ship is pulling him into their universe. So finally does, and everybody's like freaking out and everything. And then the the robots attack. He's like, "What are you doing? Why are you attacking?" He's like, "We demand you like release our humans or whatever." And so Evo sees, "Hey, wait a minute. That sword, let me see your sword," because that's what Bender was using to attack. And he says, huh. And it says like love Fry or from Fry on it or something to Bender from Fry. So Evo finds out Fry was in contact with another universe, which was one of his rules. And he says, I can't trust you. And he kicks everybody out except for Colleen. because Colleen was the only one who was enough for him and or Schlim and enough for her. Everybody else is not useful, but she was good enough, and I don't want to think about it, but there is something to it there.
I do have a counterpoint to this.
Go for it.
Just like the only person.
Mhm.
Now, remind me again the episode where Zoidberg ate the planet flag, the flag.
Okay, yeah.
Now, who was his lawyer again? Old Man
Old Man
Waterfall?
Waterfall. Yep.
Yes. I would say that he would be one of the other ones that would also agree
Oh,
with it
right,
because
because he was a
he's
right.
polygamy. I
I
can't
can't wait
wait
to
to
tell
tell
my
my
husband. Right.
exactly. Yes, yes.
Right.
So
Sure.
actually, yeah,
Yeah.
this is
And he also but he was a Satanist as well, right? Which is against technically against Evo, but sure. So in any case, Bender's all
I just want to
happy.
put that out there as my like
Sure.
she's I don't think Colleen's the only person. I'm sure
Sure.
there's a
But
few.
at that point though, he was dead. So,
Y-
you know. So
Yeah, okay.
Colleen is the only one that gets to stay, and everybody else, including Fry, gets pushed, like they get sent onto Bender's ship and sent off. And Fry is like, but we could have been like immortal and happy and all this stuff. And they say, Bender, why did you ruin heaven for us? And Bender's like, well, because it's boring. You don't have me, you don't have any of this. Like it's not worth it.
He
You're
gave
you're
some good
better off.
reasons. Yeah.
Yeah, he's better off here. Like love means nothing without like the idea of like
Great
the
jealousy.
hardship and all this stuff that comes with it. It means like all this stuff. And it's like, okay. And then Fry's like, okay, I kind of see your point. And then he's like, well, maybe I could try again with you, Leela. And then Leela's like, screw off. Like, you
You
forgot about
forgot
me as
about
soon as
me.
you
Yeah.
met Colleen. Like, I'm not going to do anything with you now. And
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Hey, Amy, what about you? Please, Fry. I have
right.
Kif
Oh,
here.
right. Sorry. And so Amy was pissed off at Evo because
Oh,
she's like,
right.
oh,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
you killed my
Sorry.
husband or he died because of you. And he's like, oh, here, I wish I could bring him back. Oh, I can. And he brings back Kif. Kif finds out about Zap and Amy, and he punches Zap in the stomach, and basically like he and Amy are on rocky terms at this point, but it doesn't last very long. He forgives her.
No, not end of the movie. And mind you, like all like you described, like the last like 10 minutes is like the last like 5 minutes of this movie.
5 minutes of the movie, I know, and I think that's where it ends. Oh, and then Evo closes up the anomaly in the universe, so that's all
Yep.
gone now, and everybody goes back to basically their lives as it is,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's it. There's no lead into another movie. There's no connection to anything else. It's literally just a standalone, and it's like these two films were on that. So with that, Mitchell, I'm going to say for the time that we had here for it, because I think it was over another hour, I'll save it for this. We'll pick it up next week. We'll talk about more of the themes and the elements, more of the jokes, obviously, and we'll
All the
have
stuff we
another one of
like.
our exactly things that we liked and all that stuff, and we'll have another special guest star. So thanks again, man, for joining me, and for everybody who listened, please like, share, and subscribe, and we'll talk to you again next time.
Wrapping it up just like this movie, just kind of done. Toodaloo.
Toodaloo.